Okay guys, it is time to get serious with some 6.5 Grendel load development, right? Time to start working up proper load. I think we've got 120, 140, I don't know. We've got plenty of brass here. I went ahead and wet tumbled this. It is nice and shiny and sexy and clean and ready to go. So, yep, I need to everything. Resize it, probably trim it, kind of give it a bit of an inspection, see if there's any other case prep I want to do to it, and then we'll be ready to go. So this has all been through the gun. Should be good stuff. If you recall, during our previous not so serious testing, powder testing, boy, AR comp was pretty impressive. Yeah, that's our 200-yard group, that one little guy out there that kind of screwed everything up. So this kind of made me interested in AR comp, reading more about AR comp. A lot of people have a lot of success with it. So that's what we're going to start with. We are going to go with AR comp. I've got 2 pounds in, this is the same lot number. So plenty of powder to play with. We should be able to work things out. We're going to stick with the 123 grain AMAXs. I've got plenty of those. Got a couple hundred of those. And we're going to switch to the CCI BR4, the bench rest primers. Probably won't make any difference, but we're going to, because I've got them. I picked up a couple new toys. First of all, I did get the proper insert for my bullet comparator, so I'll be able to, measure. Get the bullet comparator number, distance to the ogive. Now, whenever we're doing overall length, so that's good. We've got picked up a couple of these. These are Frankfurt Arsenal loading trays, like the I forget what they call them. It's like Just Right or Perfect Fit or some sort of shit like that. They've got a bunch of different sizes and they fit specific calibers. This is the number 4, and it fits the 6.5 Grendel perfectly. So my previous frustration with loading trays is over. Beautiful. Fits outstanding. And I think it says right on here 6 ppc, which, right, 6 ppc is in the same family as this stuff, or shares a parent case, or whatever the hell. So good to go. I got 2 of those. We'll be able to work on 100 pieces at a time. They were cheap, $4 or $5 a piece. So worth every penny. I picked up some Frankfurt Arsenal ammo boxes. These guys, I haven't even put rounds into these guys yet. Let's see how they fit. Oh yeah. Similar sort of thing. Boy, that fits perfect. Now, here's the question. Yep, it closes. Looks like we've got, can you see through that? Yeah, you can kind of see through that. Let's see if it passes the tip it over test. It does. Oh man, kick ass. That's awesome. That is outstanding, because the MTM just doesn't have a good option. That's all there is to it. So these are perfect. I'm not a huge fan of these ammo boxes because of, they've just got a folded plastic hinge. But by God, if they fit like that, I will take them. And these are super cheap, $2-3 a piece or something like that. Let's see, $791-$979. And I got some smoke ones as well, 801-326. Looks like they're a really good fit, and that's going to be a lot easier to work with. I wish there was a 100 round option, but whatever. You can't have everything in life. I picked up another magazine, picked up a 10-round magazine. We'll see how these, how this one goes. This one is a AR Stoner. I think that's Midway's brand, isn't it? The follower says ASC on it, or AC. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. We'll see. These Grendel magazines. This one's been running flawlessly, right? This I forget what it holds. 25 rounds has been running perfect. And this guy is a E-Lander, made in Israel. But it's Anderson Arms or whatever the hell it is, branded. So yeah, this one's been running great. This one, we'll see. We will see. It's a little flatter, you know, kind of got that more that flat military type look. Instead of this is kind of the shinier whatever, but we'll be giving that a try. So what I need to, oh, the other thing I got my scope. The scope that's going to be going on this gun permanently. I still don't have the base. That I'm getting the odd mount base, and it's on back order still. I don't know when the hell it's going to get here, but I was able to get the scope. I got the 6-24 by 50 Vortex Viper PST. First focal plane, got the illuminated reticle and stuff, and yeah, I don't know, but so we'll see how it goes. It's a lot like my HST, my 4-16 HST, which has done a great job for me. So I figured I would continue to give them my business. That I don't know if I want to dig that illuminated reticle or not. I've never had one before. It's kind of yeah, I don't know. It's got a million different brightness settings and stuff, so I'm sure there's something that'll work. And I guess whenever you turn it off, it's black, so I could just frickin' leave it turned off if I had to. More stuff to play with. So this, I think I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the rings I got in that quick detach was it pepper mount that I've got the HST in. So I want to go ahead and swap it out and get it on the gun because I don't feel like waiting for my base. I want to play with my toys now. What I will probably do, there won't be any shooting in this video. Here's what we're going to do. This video, we're going to get a bunch of ammo loaded up. I want to load up some. I want to shoot the Reddit glass match probably tomorrow. Tomorrow doesn't mean anything to you, but for me, yeah, very soon. And then I probably won't be able to get out to the range and actually shoot this stuff to check the loads until next weekend. So yeah, this guy's just going to be loading, and I don't really have charge weights picked yet because I want to see how much of this stuff we can fit in the case. I was looking around the forums and stuff. Guys are shooting up to 28.5 ish. Remember, this was 27. It wasn't quite a full case. I think I had a little bit of case capacity left there, but once you get up above 28, apparently it's really compressing hard. So once we get the brass resized and get a primer in the first one, we'll do a little testing with powder and see just how much of that stuff we're going to be able to fit. Because if you remember, these big long bullets, you know, they really sit down in there deep. So might be a little trial and error. We may have to load up some test rounds just to see how much we can get in there. Because, you know, if you've seen my 300 blackout video, kind of same situation there. I'm not worried about compressed loads. You know, compressed loads are fine, but you get to a point where you're just crunching the shit out of the powder, which is going to change its characteristics in possibly unexpected ways, you know, and not shoot well, most likely. So I don't mind getting compressed and even going very compressed, but, you know, there's a point of diminishing returns there, no doubt. So that's that. Let me kind of situate myself, start resizing some brass, and we'll get going. So I'm getting all of our brass put in loading trays here. We've got 140 pieces cleaned up and ready to go here. And you know, from all of those ejector issues we were having, or extractor issues, ejection issues we were having, you know, we got some necks that were really kind of screwed up, and I'm just trying to make sure I spot those guys ahead of time and give them the extra attention they need before I go ramming them up into the sizing die. I think I've got them all. So there's only a couple, and let me get a couple examples for you here to see. Actually, that one's not bad at all. But yeah, these are ones that just kind of got jammed into the upper on their way out, or you know, that didn't extract and just ended up getting jammed up. We may end up losing one or two of these, but that's okay. That's all right. So if you remember, this video or this load development here is going to be, we're going to pit ladder testing versus OCW, optimal charge weight testing. I've been reading the websites again for those, you know, or what I assume or I think is the original write-ups for those methods. Just trying to see whether we can come up with a compatible loading. I think I'm going to load 50 rounds for OCW, 50 rounds for ladder testing, and then have 40 or maybe a few less than that if we have to cull a couple pieces of brass. Pieces for siders and for fouling shots and for my Reddit match and just for kind of general use. They both seem to be, they both kind of recommend the same sort of thing for choosing your test charges. Although both methods seem to use 3-round groups, but we got plenty of bullets. We're going to use 5-round groups. But they both start with determining maximum charge. I've already mentioned our maximum charge on this is going to be case capacity, right? We're going to play around with case capacity here in a few minutes and see just how much powder we can cram into this guy. It's a bit of an assumption. I'm going off, you know, a lot of random hilljacks on the internet talking on forums, but that's the assumption we're going to move forward with. And you take that and then you work your way back down in, I think the ladder testing said 1%, about 1% increments, and the OCW said 7/10 to 1% increments, so they both talk about 1% increments. So if our max charge ends up being, let's say 28.5, you know, so 1% of that is 2.85 or 0.285 or about 3/10. So, you know, so if it was 28.5, we'd go 28.2, 27.9, 27.3, you know, and work our way down in 3/10. Once we get to that point, we'll see how the math works out and see where that takes us. We may do 2/10. I don't know. We'll see. But that's the basics of it. We need to determine max, and then we're just going to load up a bunch. We're going to load 50 for one, 50 for the other. We're going to do them both at the same exact time, same exact die settings, same exact everything to get ready for that. So, alright, I need to get to sizing this stuff. Yeah, I just took all the time to lay these all out in trays nicely, and I think I'm going to dump them into a box and use lanolin. Because I don't feel like using imperial sizing wax on these guys. That'll be too slow for a batch this big. So, alright, I'm going to get my crap straightened out. We'll be back here in a second. Alright, so I got these guys lubed up, ready for sizing. And I went in and grabbed my headspace comparator kit. Different than the bullet comparator kit, right? This is the one that measures down to the shoulder of the case, right, which is where the case is headspace. I was measuring some of these, just seeing how consistent they're reading, and they're reading quite consistent, like 3.225 is about what we are seeing. Yep, that one's like 3.223. At 3.225. So what we can do is, as we set our full-length sizing die, I think I'm going to monitor this and see just how far back we're bumping the shoulder. And maybe back off that seating die just a little bit. Make sure we don't bump these guys too hard. That was 3.224. Yep, same there. So let me grab a couple examples and then we'll play around with the seating die here. The sizing die. A little bit. Oh, this one's shorter. It's already been sized. One or two of these with the jacked up necks, I had been screwing around with them in the sizer. Set that guy to the side. Yeah, I think 3.224 is going to be the number. So let's, yeah, let me get you a little better angle here. We can see the sizing die. So I haven't moved this guy since last time, and it's still got, and you can't see the arm of the press here, but it's kind of, it's in there pretty stout. It's got quite a bit of cam over at the bottom. First of all, let's loosen this guy just a titch. Freaking Allen wrench is laying everywhere here, and you never get the right one. There we go. Alright, so let's, man, got the freaking kung fu grip on that guy. Nice and loose. There we go. Alright, I'm going to start out by taking it down until it just kind of kisses. That's down enough to where without a case in there, it's taking up the slack. We're getting contact with the shell holder and the die, but once we run a case through, like that, there's a little bit of a gap. Let's see if that moved the shoulder at all. Actually, looks like it did. That one's like 3.222. So that was 2,000ths-ish. Do another guy here. Yep, that one's reading right at 3.225. Let's run it through. Yep, 3.222. So that's bumping that shoulder a couple thousandths. And you can see by like funky lube and stuff up in the die, it's definitely touching it. So the question is, will these run through the gun? And I have to imagine they probably freaking will. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Tell you what, I need to clean the stupid gun. It's still super skanky from that last trip to the range where I shot a million shots. Yeah, let me get the gun. We'll play around here. Alright, trying to wipe some of this crap off of here. I'll tell you what. Let's see, how can we do this? Okay, here's the upper. There's the bolt. This is kind of hard in an AR. If there's a way to do this easier, I don't know of it. But whenever you're trying to load a single round, tell you what, take one. This has not been sized. Should read about 3.224. So this one has not been sized. I don't really know how else to single load these other than to just kind of slide this guy in the chamber, and then when you put the bolt in, right, it's got to overcome that extractor. So you slide this in and then just kind of, it's always hard. It's hard no matter what. But then once it's in there, you should be able to pop this guy in and out, and you can see this guy is kind of sticky, or a lot sticky. Bolt in. Come on. Okay, yep, this might not have been a good idea. I thought I had like a rubber hammer mallet here. I was using it earlier. Crap. We'll use the back side of this guy. So as you can see, like, it just doesn't want to pop out. Alright, need to mute the hockey game. There we go. Okay, so need to, there we go. So now, that clearly went in the chamber and didn't want to come back. So that's one that has not been sized. Here, this is the one I was talking about with the jacked up neck that I had that I had fully sized earlier. You can see that guy is set way the hell back. Like, that shoulder has been bumped at, what are we at, like 15 thousandths. So this is the normal, you know, hard cam over, you know, die all the way down and then an additional quarter turn. So let's see how this guy acts. Alright, got to overcome that extractor. There's that. And then now, hopefully, unless I'm much mistaken, there we go. So bolt moves right in, right out. So that's a fully resized case. Absolutely no problem at all. It's not a tight fit in that chamber. Now, the ones that we just partially resized, or the ones that we did a controlled bump, I guess we could call it. Oh yeah, these were like 22, right? 3.22. That one's reading a little bit. There it is. 3.222. So we bumped these like 2 or 3 thousandths. So let's see how they act. I'm guessing it'll be somewhere right in the middle. Right, maybe a little bit sticky, but probably not too bad. No problems at all. How about that? Let's try a couple of them here. Yeah, let's run several. I want to be sure about this. Get back in here. Can you guys even see what the hell's going on? Yeah, this may be like worst YouTube ever, but that guy chambers and extracts without any issue. We'll do one more here just to be sure. Want to be thorough. Right, this is a huge advantage, right? This is a whole lot less work that we're putting on our brass. Right out. No problem at all. So, yeah, this man, his fingers are sexy, aren't they? Yeah, so this is awesome. So we only bumped the shoulder about 2 to 3 thousandths, and it's running great. So this is what we're going to try and do. This is how we're going to try to resize these. This is going to be, this is going to extend brass life. This is going to mean that these won't be stretching as much as, you know, this case did. I'll tell you what, let me do a quick. You know, our sample size might not be big enough here to get a good idea of it, but let's see what the length is on that guy. 1.515. And actually that's the one with the jacked up neck anyway, so this might be a really bad comparison. 1.512, 1.510, 1.520, 1.515, 0.5, yeah, these are kind of all over the place. 1.510, 1.515. See that one we haven't sized yet. What's it? 1.512, 1.512, 1.507. Tell you, let's do a before and after. How about that? That would be a better. This guy's 1.508. So let's resize it. And 1.511, 1.510. So not too bad. Not too bad. So that's good. This is very, very good news. I'm glad I pulled out that comparator and decided to do that, because that'll be good for brass life. Okay, so I'm going to get to it and yeah, get to resizing here. So I'm just finishing up the last of the sizing here. I was going to take these down and throw them in the wet tumbler for just a minute with some soapy water to get this lanolin off, but I think what I want to do, I think I want to trim them first. That way once they get washed, it'll wash away all the brass shavings and junk. Alright, what the hell's our trim length? Trim, case trim length 1.510. Huh, some of the cases were shorter than that, weren't they? That one's exactly 1.510. .512. So, I'll tell you what, this one's 1.510, so let's go ahead. I need to, I've got my 30 millimeter, or 30 cal pilot in that dude. So I need to find the box. It's under here somewhere. There we go. Lee makes a case length gauge and shell holder for 6.5 Grendel. I have no freaking idea why I don't have one. Let's see, this says 27. Nope, not gonna be that. You've got to be freaking shitting me. I don't have the right pilot. This thing goes from 25 to 27. Let's see what the 25 one. See just how sloppy it is. That's pretty freaking sloppy. Crap! I have no way to trim this crap. Horse poop. Alright, let me frickin' regroup here. Only thing I need to do is to try the 25 and just see how sloppy it is. You know, keeping that centered nicely and square is pretty freaking critical. Alright, let's see what that does. I don't know why I haven't bought a case gauge and shell holder for this. Okay, this one was what we wanted, right? It was 1.510-ish, 0.511. Yeah, pretty close. So let's see. I hate this trimmer. I guess worst case, I can just not trim it, but I really want to freaking trim it. Alright, let's see how bad that is. Well, it doesn't seem to be flopping around too much. That one just barely got touched. That one barely got touched as well. 1.510. That one actually says 1. So you what? Let's see if I can find a long one here. 1.511. 1.509. 1.511. 1.511. There, 1.516. That actually doesn't seem bad. I need to order the right one, but it doesn't seem to be flopping around or doing anything crazy. 0.510. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go with extra couple thousandths. Because I'd like to just barely touch all these guys, just to kind of get them all uniform. Even if that does put me a thousandth or two below trim length. Alright, let's run a couple of these back through. I need to get my drill hooked to this guy. Alright, I didn't measure that to see. It's barely taking anything. Yeah, 1.508. Just taking a couple thousandths. Yeah, 1.507. So that's good to go. Alright, I got work to do. I'm going to run through all these guys. And then chamfer and deburr them. And then run them through the wet tumbler just with water and some soap to clean off all the lube. Finally done. Have I complained about trimming yet in this video? Yeah. Okay, so I only found 3 of my ones that had jacked up necks, and this is the worst of them. You can see it didn't get trimmed completely off. Still a little bit boogered up, but I think it's going to be shootable. Those three I went ahead and put there. I think there's a fourth. And it matters to me because those four had been, I had sized them with the die before I, switched to this new setting. And I really don't want a piece of brass that was sized that much differently mixed in with the ones we're going to use for load development, So I'm going to go through these guys and deburr and chamfer them. I may throw each one into the case comparator just to figure out which one's short. That's a little bit ridiculous, but that's okay. This is a ridiculous process, so I'm okay with being a little bit ridiculous. Alright, so yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Just start deburring and chamfering these guys, and then boy, this Hornady brass is very soft. It doesn't take much to get a nice chamfer on these guys, and definitely don't want to go overboard and make them crazy. So yeah, that'll be that. Throw it in here, make sure it's up in that 20, what we say, 22 is what we were ending up with. Yeah, 3.222. Now that one that's been sized before, it should be way the hell up there, like 15 thousandths shorter. Should be pretty easy to find. So yeah, once these guys are chamfered, they'll go in the box to get dumped in the tumbler. Alright, so I've measured all these guys and did not find, unless it's this very last one, and it is not. And didn't find a fourth. So that's okay. That was worth the time. I now have really high confidence in our resize job and the uniformity of this brass, which we're going to use for this load development. So that's good to go. So these need a little wash now to get all of the lube and shavings and all that crap off of them. They're all nicely trimmed and deburred and chamfered and all that sort of crap. So these three here are the only three, and that got fully resized. Yeah, two of them, the necks are perfect, and then that one just still, I think I showed it to you earlier, still has that. So, alright, I'm going to get these cleaned up and we'll be ready for primers. Alright, these guys have been for their little dip in the pool. They're all nice and clean and lube free now. They've had overnight to dry, so no worries about that. And yeah, I actually put them in the dehydrator as well, just to make sure these things are, completely bone dry and ready to go. So we're basically ready for primers, and I just realized I'm going to need more than 100, aren't I? There we go. That little guy and this little guy. I wonder if I can get the other 40 on the tray at the same time without spilling crap everywhere. I don't know. 10, 20, 30, 40. I guess these I just need to just kind of dump them on there. There we go. Alright, 140 primers. Alright, got them all nice and anvil up. At least I did. Come on. There's that one guy. Get the cover on there without popping them everywhere, which I won't be able to. Oh, maybe. Get on there. Get on there. Almost. Just a couple. Sweet. I'm gonna have to buy more of these freaking loading trays. If I'm gonna be doing large batches, you know, this is the closest I've got. Is this MTM Universal has got one slot that kind of fits these, but it's a very, very tight fit. And whenever I go to grab them, I end up these freaking Frankfurt Arsenals are the bomb diggity. I don't know why I've never bought these before. I've always seen them, but you know, it always seemed the smarter move to have universal equipment. But that's, man, that is absolutely perfect. Alright, nothing exciting to see here, so I'll get these guys primed. And then we will come back. Yeah, these bench rest primers, I don't know if we'll be able to see that on camera or not, have got a little bee on them. It kind of freaked me out. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but yeah, there's a little bee on the primers, and it kind of freaked me out there. I've never used these before. I've never been able to justify the cost, but figured I'd give them a shot. We'll see what happens here. Alright, just finishing up capping here. I've been debating whether or not to sacrifice a case so I could play around, and I want to find out the distance to the lands on this gun and that sort of crap. And I like to take a case and cut a slit in the neck with a Dremel tool. And I was thinking about like the one case in particular that the neck's kind of jacked up and still a little chewed up, of maybe sacrificing it and using it. But the problem is I've got it resized so much, and you can see I've dented the heck out of the shoulders. Whenever I was trying to get the neck straightened out, I really had it lubed up like crazy, and this neck got dented to hell and back. And I don't want that to be my reference case. You know, I don't want the head spacing to be all loose and jacked up. So I've been loading almost to magazine length. I think that's what we'll just do. Yeah, we'll just stick with the overall length that we've been using. Man, this frickin' primer is flipping primers on me today a lot. And I'll sacrifice the case later. We'll look into that later. For this load development, you know, I want to do a standard overall length that's going to fit in a magazine and all that sort of stuff. And I don't think, yeah, I don't think the lands are going to be shorter than magazine length. Okay, so let's see. All these guys are primed and ready to go. Here's my first 40 that we're going to load up. These three are the ones that are a little jacked up, and then these are all nice. So what I want to do, I want to play around with some powder here and see if we can get a feel for just how much powder we can fit in this beast. So yeah, tell you what, I'm gonna grab a bowl. Yeah, that's looking clean. I think both of these are full. Yeah, that one might be open. Yep, I think it had been. If you're not familiar with AR comp, it's an extruded powder, you know, the little sticks. It's short sticks, kind of like maybe Reloader 15 sort of sized, if you're familiar with that. A little bit smaller than something like Varget or IMR 4064, IMR 4895. It's a little smaller than that. So I found this stuff runs pretty decent through a powder measure. once we decide on some loads, I'll probably fill up my powder measure to throw just under, and then trickle them up to just right. And I'm going to go full-blown balls to the walls ridiculous on these, and basically measure them all down to the single granule. These granules generally weigh about 0.02 grains a piece. Got our Gym Pro 250 here that we're going to be using. So I want to load up 28 grains in one. Why is this thing not tearing? It's being a little goofy on me here. Alright, this guy's being a little stupid this morning. Let's grab some check weights and run it through some tests. So there's 20 grains. And that reads 4 grains. What the hell is wrong with my scale? I don't have. Alright, let me dick with my scale here a little bit and we'll resume in a second. Yeah, I kind of unplugged it, let it sit for a second, plugged it back in, everything's working fine now. I leave this thing turned on all the time. I guess it just kind of went a little bit bonkers. It's the first time I've had that particular problem. Yep. Right on the money. Alright, so let's see what 28 grains it gives us as far as case fill goes. Yeah, I went over. Let's go to 28.5. And went over that. Alright, 28.50. Alright, then let's kind of give it a little tap to settle it down. That's not too bad. That's right at the base of the neck. Now, of course, these bullets freaking go down in there about a mile, right? So, I'll tell you what, let's open up. Where the hell's my knife? We need a screwdriver. Alright, I've never understood this little flap in these Hornady boxes. It just gets in the freaking way. Like, what the hell's that for? Alright, so our overall length, what did we do last time? We did 2.250 last time. And I'll tell you what, let me... Man, I really wish I had a case with a modified neck where I could kind of play around with this and look at it and all that sort of crap. 2.250. There, let me mark a case with a Sharpie. Alright, so this guy goes down in here about that far. I've put 2 marks. The top mark is where the boat tail starts, and the bottom is about where the base of the boat tail is. You can see that is way the hell down in there, right? So our powder here with 28.5, it's just below the bottom of the shoulder. So there we go. On the right, that's about where our powder is going to, and then on the left is how deeply our bullet is getting seated. So I think that is, we'll see as we load it, but I got a feeling that's going to be a little bit crunchy. You know, it's going to be very, very compressed. But I did see forum posts and stuff of people shooting charges this high. Now, the longer we can load this guy, the better, right? The more case capacity it's going to give us. So, once we get to bullet seating, what I'll probably try to do is, we'll see, you know, I've got 2 magazines. We'll see what our max magazine length is in these guys. And, tell you what, these factory loads are pretty short. A little shorter than the 2.250 that we had just loaded. Come on. .236. And let's see, is this the one I just freaking measured? 2.237, 2.236. Now if we look at these, in the magazines, not a whole lot. Maybe an additional little bit. You know, because our 2.250 is already what, 12 or 13 thousandths longer than these guys. So we'll go with 2.250, but as we do the first ones, we'll look and see. We'll check in the magazines and see if we can go any longer. And if we do go longer, then we'll just make sure that it chambers in the rifle. So we've got our max charge, 28.5 grains. 1% of that would be 0.285 grains, right? Basically 0.3 grains. So both of our OCW and our ladder procedures say to go about 1%. So let's see, if we did 28.5, 28.2, 27.9, 26, 27.6, 27.3, 27.0, 26.1, 26.4, and 26.1. Hang on, 27.0. Yeah, let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's only 9. Yeah, so if we did 10 increments, that would take us all the way down to 25.8. Which is about 10% lower than our max, which I think is what both of them, yeah, back away from the maximum charge by 7 to 10% is what OCW says, and Yeah, and the ladder just says covering 6 to 10 charge weights in about 1% increments. I think that's it. So that would put our center charge, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At 27.3 grains, which is what we already shot. Or 27 grains is what we already shot. Okay, so our lowest load is going to be 25.8. Let's see, if we went 2/10, what would our number be? If we go in 2/10 increments, that would take us down to 26.7. Let me look at this charge again. Okay, here's what I think we'll do. We'll do 2/10 increments. Really finely tune this guy, right? I like the thought of 2/10 increments over 3/10 increments. That'll take it, and we're going to knock it down. Looking at this case some more, 28.5 is a lot. Let's do the max. Let's make the max charge 28.3, and then go 2/10 increments down for 10 charge weights. That'll put our minimum charge at 26.5. So let me dump a couple charges here real quick. We'll do a 28.3 charge and a 25.6 charge, and look at our case capacity. Dump that guy out here. Alright, 26.50, that's our minimum charge. Alright, 28.30 is our maximum charge. So let's compare these guys. Let's give them a little tap on the table there to settle them down, and we will see those are both really nice and full cases. Right, even our 26.5 charge is down at probably about the bottom of the shoulder. So our minimum charge is, you know, the top of the charge just sitting there is going to be right at about the base of the bullet, and then, you know, there's still that little bit there for the boat tail, and our max charge just a touch below that neck, just barely down into the shoulder, so that's going to be also a nicely compressed charge. This is the area where I really have a feeling we're going to find the best shooting, so good deal. That's what we'll do. That is precisely what we'll do. So these first 40 rounds that I'm going to load up for sighters, we want to go in the middle. So let's go with 27.3 grains, and that's what I'll load up these for, you know, for sighters and for fouling shots and for the Reddit match I'm wanting to shoot. So that's what we'll do. So I'm going to start dumping charges. We'll get all these done, and then we'll switch over to those and start the long process of weighing charges. And actually for these, I was saying I wanted to set up my powder measure, right? So I'll do that. I'll start getting charges dumped, and I will see you guys here in a few. Alright, coming down to the last charge of this first batch, the 27.3 grain stuff. I like this powder. it meters pretty well in the powder measures, and it's you know, easy to trickle and all that crap. Pretty good stuff. So alright, excuse me, that gives us 40 to play with here at first. We'll get our, I'll tell you what, this first batch, I need to update my spreadsheet here. Alright, so let's load this let's load this stuff to 2.250, and then we'll, actually no, let's sneak up on it. Let's try and get it to like 2.260 or whatever, and start playing around with the magazine, get a good idea of what our true max magazine length is. So yeah, let me rearrange here. Alright, so our die is still set from last time, so it should be in the ballpark, but let's go ahead and back this guy out like, yeah, there's 25 thousandths. You know, these are compressed charges, and as you see compressed charges and things get more and more compressed, it can really jack with your overall length. So you kind of have to chase your die setting as you get more and more compressed. So I don't want to, yeah, so you know, basically all of these we want consistent overall length. We don't necessarily want consistent die setting. You know, the die we're going to be tweaking as we go. So let's try this first guy here. Yep, seemed to start okay. Okay, let's see where that puts us. 2.276, and let's grab a magazine. I expect this to be quite a bit too long, and it is not. Interesting. Okay, let's see what it does in the other magazine. It clears that guy as well. By God. Try and push it way the hell down in there, see if it ever starts dragging. I'm not seeing any dragging as it gets deeper. Yeah, sorry, these magazines are pretty darn... It might get a few more thousandths in that guy. Now the thing is, I don't know, as it goes down and, you know, gets into here, I don't know if we'd have problems once the magazine really started getting full. Yeah, with that guy, let's see if we can get a... That's about all this guy could handle. We're just a couple thousandths off of that guy. So let me... Yep, pushing down into that guy seems okay as well. So that was what, 2.276? Is that what I said? 2.275? So the question is, will it chamber in my gun? Let me, yeah, I got it soaking here. Let me run a couple patches through this thing, put it back together, we'll have a look. Alright, let's see if I can see if I can do this without screwing anything up. I think what I probably need to try to do is tilt this guy in here and get it under the extractor. See if I can kind of just manually get this guy straight. Come on. Can't be that hard. There we go. Alright, so it's under the extractor. So let me push this guy into there. Now, moment of truth. We'll see if this guy... Yep, bolt closed okay. Give it a little pop. sure it's all the way in the battery. Yep, it's okay. Now let me try to ease this guy out of here. A few little marks on there, but I think that's probably from it tilting on the way out. So it went in okay, it came out okay. So I'm thinking, yeah, 2.750 might be okay as far as magazine length goes and gun operation goes. I'll tell you what I'll do. So like I've mentioned, after I get this first batch, I'm going to go shoot some, shoot that Reddit match here in the backyard. Once I get back in and have some more brass to play with, what I'll do is this piece right here, which I've already mentioned, it's got a little bit jacked up neck, but the shoulder's a little jacked up. Once this guy's been fired again, we'll sacrifice it. We'll go ahead and size the neck a little bit and then hit it with a Dremel tool so we can figure out where the hell the lands are, and I'll just dump fucking powder everywhere. I'm an idiot. I'm truly an idiot. Did I dump powder like all over the top of these? Nope, doesn't look like I did. I don't see a bunch of powder laying there. Alright, so that's a bad charge. Need to reweigh that guy. But for the time being, I think what I'll do is go ahead and I'm going to seat these guys long. I'm going to do 2.7 or 2.275. I'm going to go down about 1,000. Seat this guy one more time. Like I say, the longer we can seat him, the more case capacity we've got for powder, right? That's, yep, 2.275. Let me seat a couple more here. .277. Yep, we do have our insert now for the bullet comparator, so I'll be able to get a comparator number. .275. .278. Let me run this back up in there, make sure I'm not, because these guys were giving me pretty uniform numbers last time. 2.278. Nope, looks like some of these bullets might just be a little bit. It's usually inconsistencies in the tip that cause this sort of weirdness. 2.2745. 2.278, 2.276, 2.278, 2.275. Tell you what, let's look on the bullet comparator and see what the hell we get. Should hopefully see a more consistent number, I would imagine. Yeah, come on. Open sesame. I wish I had my knife. I don't know why the hell I don't have my knife up here. Okay, found it. That should make life a little bit easier. Yeah, fuck it. Just rip it open like that. If I can find the right. I'm a mess today, man. Absolutely a mess. Alright, I think this guy, nope. There we go. Alright, 30 cal out. And this guy in. All right. .702. .704. This is weird. I don't know why I'm getting this much. That one's 2.704. 2.702. 2.703. Okay, I guess that's not so bad. I'm not hearing any shaking, so I think this guy's compressing. Let me run these guys back through one more time. That might be from inconsistent compression of the powder. You know, like the powder was just in there on some of these where it was. Alright, 2.703. Yep, 2.70. Yep, 3. 2.703. 2.702. All right, 2.702. So that's the ballpark. I mean, now that we've got several. Load them all in a magazine. Yeah, some of them are dragging the nose just a touch. Get them, they'll go. It's very close, but just barely, just barely. Tell you what, let's go down just a touch more, and we'll go to what were these? 2.275. Let's go down 5 thousandths. Try and get to 2.270. .272. 2.269. I know this is boring, but it's important, right? Like this is finding a max that's going to actually run well and fit the magazines well and all that crap. It's going to be important. Try this 10 rounder first. Alright, those are definitely okay in that guy. It is incredibly close, but they're all clearing. And this this magazine, see how like on the front, like this is the Anderson. It's got plenty of room for the bolt to start its way forward without hitting anything, but this guy goes forward and the bullet is going to be dragging on that guy, and that is freaking sharp. I got a feeling that's going to be scarring the snot out of my bullets. That might need a little bit of cutout work or something, because I don't like the idea of the bullets just, I mean, at the end, it's right there between the tip and where the jacket starts. It seems to be hanging on that, and that's a bit of a jagged edge. It's not a nice clean rounded edge or anything. Yeah, just from pushing those out, you can see just a little bit of stuff going on there. Alright, let's check this magazine real quick. Alright, yep, we are okay now. Pretty much nothing to spare. Like, that is right there at the edge. So that's what we're going to call our absolute max at 2.270, and that's what we'll go with for this first batch. So I'm going to get powder back in that one, and then seat the bullets in the rest of these guys, and then we'll be ready to take a quick intermission while I go shoot that Reddit match, see how these things fire. Then we'll be ready to play with some other stuff. Alright, so that is the first 40. Man, it feels so good to have an ammo box that's going to work out well. So, alright. I'm going to shoot the Reddit match. I'll be splitting that into a different video. So for this video, you'll see me magically here in just a few seconds with some empty brass and a story to tell, hopefully, about how well these shot, and a piece of brass that we can take a Dremel tool to and do some more testing with the gun. Okay, so the Reddit match is complete. Actually, gun shot pretty well. It was they went where I was pointing, and one point in the match was a 5-shot group. It's only 50 yards, but one point was a 5-shot group, and it was about 7/10 of an MOA, which is pretty darn good. I'm happy with that. So the, what was it, 27.3 grain shots, shot pretty well. One thing I did as I was walking back in, so the empties, yeah, this is just the nature of being a short case. So if you, when you've got empty brass, if you turn this thing, they will fall out of their slot. I don't think there's any getting around that. Like I say, it's just the nature of being a short case. So let's see. I marked these guys red, the ones that were with the jacked up neck. So here's the one with our super skanky neck. I'm going to resize this guy, cut a slit in the neck, and then we'll have a little bit of, then we'll have a case to play with to figure out our max seating depth and that sort of crap. I'll tell you what, and I think I'm going to go ahead and just load these back up. Let's see what I shoot. I shot about 10, 20, 30. I shot 32 rounds. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and load them all back up. That way we've got a nice full batch of ciders whenever we get back out to the range. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to run these guys through the sizing die real quick, and then I'll see you guys in just a second. Alright, so we've got all of our, just fired brass resized and primed, ready for powder and bullets. Our sacrificial case here, I have just chopped a slit in the side of it. Grab a little something to, usually a little like burr there to manage. There we go. So now let's see if this guy, we should be able to take a bullet, and it should slide in. I might need to go just a little bit farther down the neck there. It's getting a little tight down there at the bottom. Okay. There we go. Took it down into the shoulder just a touch. Yep, and another little burr to deal with. There we go. There we go. Now it's going in there, and usually, yeah, a lot of these cases where the bullet really gets seated down deep, usually have to pop it loose with a bullet puller. Come on! Almost. There we go. So we'll leave that guy handy. And I'll go get the gun. We'll play around. We'll see, yeah, see if we can figure out where the hell the lands are of our rifling. Alright, if this proves to be a pain in the butt, I might just take the freaking extractor out of the bolt. Know what I'm saying? So we need our piece of brass. Let's get our bullet just barely started. I should probably just take the damn scope off. That's what I'm going to do. There we go. That's better. Alright. Bolt back. Take our round. Get it under the lip of the extractor. Come on. If I can. There we go. Alright, you can't see squat, but I did get it under the lip of the extractor, got it straightened, guide it into the chamber. There it is, and then I'll push forward. I should probably switch camera angles. That would be the best thing. So I'll just push forward. Until the bolt goes home. And then see if I can get this guy out of here. Try to support the case on its way out. Alright, there we are. So now we measure the overall length. 2.347. That is pretty darn long. Right, so we're seating at about 2.27 for max magazine length. So that's like 60, almost 70 thousandths. Okay, let's try this again. Tell you what, let me see if I can get a camera angle. Okay, bullet barely started in there. Pull the bolt back just a little bit. And you know what we're basically doing is just putting the case in there, getting the rim under the ejector or the extractor, and then pushing against the ejector to try and get it straight, and then guiding it in there. So there's that. Okay, there it is, kind of straight. Bolt's a bit crooked. and push. There it is. Pop it out. Start supporting the case as early as we can so the bullet doesn't drag across the barrel extension. And there we are. .350. Pardon me, 2.350. Our last one was 2.347, so that was within 0.003 of last time. Go, pop the bullet out. Start it again. You know, so this is, it starts out about 2.5 inches. We'll really give it a good slam this time, maybe. Get in there. Okay, there we're straight. Get it into the chamber. There we go. .353. 35. I think I pushed it in. Yeah, 2.353. So that's a couple thousandths longer than last time. Looks like right about that 2.35 number is probably going to be our number. So look, yeah. So we've got plenty of room to go full magazine length and still have a pretty healthy jump to the rifling. I was hoping it would be a little closer. You know, I was hoping the throat would be a touch shorter, but it's not. Come on. Okay, ease it in. There it is. .349. So yeah, 2.350 with this bullet is where those lands are at. Good deal. Alright, trying to get my hands wiped off here. If we had any chance of loading near those lands, I would have done that a lot more times. I would have done that like, 10 times. I would have done it with multiple bullets to make sure we didn't have a wonky bullet or something. But since it's so far out there, it is what it is. Alright, so this bullet I was just kind of scraping the snot out of and all that sort of stuff. I'm going to set it aside. It's still a good enough bullet. Actually, I'm going to use it in... That's kind of my next step. I'm going to go ahead and load these back up with 27.3 and I'll throw this in one of these. These are just Fowlers and stuff, so that's good to go. But I wouldn't want to use that bullet for a load development round, just in case the tip got jacked up or all the marks and stuff from jamming into the rifling. So alright, I'm going to start slinging some powder, get these guys loaded up with the current dye settings, and then after that we'll be ready to start loading our ladders. So I got my powder thrown, or measured. And I was just starting to seat bullets. And these again, I had a little screw up. I came over. My resizing die was in the the main slot, and my ram was up. And I just came up and turned the ram, or turned the turret without dropping the ram, and I knocked the decapping pin off of my resizing die. So I need to tear this guy apart, see if I screwed up my expander. Good thing is the Forster dies have replaceable decapping pin, so hopefully I just broke it off or knocked it over or knocked it out. But that's how it goes. That's what happens when you're not careful. I've been trying to get this ammo loaded all day long. Keep getting sidetracked, and I stopped to go shoot that match, and too much going on. So I'm loading up the first 10 of our ladder, right? The first rung of our ladder. And it's going to be 5 rounds for OCW, 5 rounds for ladder testing. So I'm going to load them at the exact same time, carefully weigh out exactly the charge I'm looking for. And I think we're going to go with that 2.7, or I'm sorry, 2.27 overall length. Seemed to work okay in the shots earlier. So that's kind of what I'm doing now. Going through each charge and keep. Okay, going through each charge. Once I get 10, seat the bullets in the box and move on to the next one. Alright, so I'm halfway done. Nothing really exciting going on here, just weighing charges and seating bullets. That's one tray down. One more tray to go. I have had to adjust the seating die a little bit, a couple times, just down a couple thousandths as we get more and more compressed. And I'm sure I'll continue to need to do that. Let's see, 6th charge, 27.5 grains. Alright, on to the next one. Alright, just wrapping up these last few here. Feel like we've loaded some good ammo. I'm interested to see, how this is all going to turn out. I'd really like to shoot them on the same day, under the same conditions and all that crap. We'll just have to see how it goes. And I also want to make sure I don't get in a rush. I have a tendency to get to the range and get in a rush because, my camera batteries only last so long and all that sort of crap. So what I'll probably end up doing with this, I'm just not going to worry that much about the range footage. Right, the range footage is pretty shitty anyway, so what I'll probably do is like a target camera only, because I definitely need a target camera on the ladder just to keep track of, where the freaking bullet holes are going. So I don't know, we'll see. But it's definitely going to be several days before I can get to the range, and it's going to feel like 100 years, because I really want to shoot these. I want to find out which whether the methods agree and all that sort of crap. So alright, that's it. Next video, I'm not sure I'm going to format it. Maybe I'll do a separate video for each method. Maybe I'll try and cram them all into one. I don't know. I kind of need to think it over and figure out some way to make it digestible, right? Make it palatable, I guess. So that's it for now. See you guys next time.